Sarah had always been independent and brave, so when her parents decided to go out of town for the weekend, leaving her home alone for the first time, she was excited. The house, usually filled with the sounds of family life, suddenly felt quiet. But Sarah welcomed the silence, looking forward to a weekend of relaxation. As the evening settled in, Sarah decided to watch a movie, something light and comforting. She wrapped herself in a blanket on the couch, enjoying the solitude. The house was calm, with only the soft murmur of the movie and the occasional creak of the floorboards breaking the stillness. Everything was perfect. Until there was a knock at the door. The sudden sound startled her. Sarah paused the movie, her heart skipping a beat. Who could be knocking at this hour? The knock came again, louder and more insistent. Unease washed over her. She wasn't expecting anyone, and her parents hadn't mentioned any visitors. Cautiously, Sarah approached the door, her nerves on edge. She peered through the peephole but saw nothing. The porch was empty. Confused, she unlocked the door and opened it slightly, glancing outside. The street was deserted, and the neighboring houses were dark and silent. Feeling uneasy, she quickly shut the door and locked it, her mind racing. Had it been a prank? The wind? She wasn't sure, but the unsettling feeling lingered. Back on the couch, Sarah tried to focus on the movie, but her mind kept wandering. Every little sound, the creak of the floorboards, the rustling of the curtains, made her jump. The house, which had felt cozy just an hour ago, now seemed filled with shadows that moved at the edges of her vision. Then she heard it, a faint sound, like footsteps coming from upstairs. Sarah froze, her heart pounding. She was supposed to be alone. The footsteps were slow and deliberate, growing louder as they approached the top of the stairs. Her mind raced. Was it her imagination? The house settling? But the footsteps were too real to dismiss. Grabbing her phone, Sarah dialed her mom's number, but the call went straight to voicemail. Panic surged through her. She was alone, with no one to help. For a moment, she considered running out of the house, but she needed to know what was happening. Summoning her courage, she grabbed a flashlight and started toward the stairs. The house was eerily silent as she climbed the stairs, each step making the wooden boards creak under her weight. The hallway at the top of the stairs was dark, with only a sliver of moonlight filtering through a small window. The door to her bedroom was slightly ajar, a sliver of darkness beyond it. Sarah's pulse quickened as she approached, gripping the flashlight tightly. Taking a deep breath, Sarah pushed the door open and stepped inside. The room was just as she had left it, except for one thing. The window was wide open, the curtains fluttering gently in the breeze. Sarah's blood ran cold. She was certain she had closed it earlier. Quickly, she rushed to the window and slammed it shut, locking it securely. But before she could collect her thoughts, she heard a faint creak behind her, like the sound of someone shifting their weight on the floorboards. She spun around, her heart racing, but there was nothing there. The room was empty, but the door, her only escape, was now closed. Panic gripped her. She was trapped, alone in the dark, with something she couldn't see but could feel, lurking just out of sight. Desperation clawed at her chest. She needed to get out, but her body refused to move, paralyzed by fear. Summoning every ounce of courage she had left, Sarah lunged for the door, her hand fumbling with the handle. The door creaked open, and she bolted down the stairs, not daring to look back. The house, once her sanctuary, now felt like a maze of shadows and fear. She burst through the front door and ran into the yard, her breath coming in short, panicked gasps. The cool night air hit her like a shock, but it did little to calm her racing heart. She turned to look back at the house, half expecting to see something or someone in the window watching her. But the house stood silent and still, bathed in the pale light of the moon. To anyone else, it would seem like just another quiet night. But Sarah knew the truth. Something had been in there with her, something dark and malevolent, and it had been waiting for her. When her parents returned, she told them everything. They searched the house, but found nothing out of the ordinary. They tried to reassure her, telling her it must have been her imagination. But Sarah knew what she had felt, what she had heard. From that night on, the house never felt the same. Even in daylight, she could feel it, the lingering presence of something unseen, waiting and watching.